Let's be honest, navigating the world of housing can feel like you're trying to solve a giant puzzle in the dark, right? Whether you're trying to rent, buy, or maybe you're facing a sudden crisis, it is so easy to feel like you're completely on your own.
So, the big question is, when you feel lost in that maze, who can you actually turn to? Who is really on your side? Well, today, we're going to search for the helpers, the guides, and the advocates who can help light the way.
To get us started, let's lock in on one really important idea: agency. Now, this word has two powerful meanings that are just perfect for what we're talking about. First, it's an organization or a professional who provides help. An agent in your corner. But second, and this is just as crucial, it's your own power to take action. This idea of both finding help and being the help is going to be our guide.
So, let's start where the need is most urgent: a crisis. When things feel like they're totally falling apart and you need a lifeline fast, where do you find it? Who is the agent you can turn to for immediate help?
Just imagine for a second you're facing eviction or the very real threat of homelessness. That's a terrifying place to be. And in those moments, knowing the absolute first step to take is everything. You need a direct, immediate connection to resources.
And right here, we find our first type of agent. In Colorado, the Division of Housing points people to one single, simple number, 211. Just think about the power of that. Instead of having to track down a dozen different numbers, there's just one confidential service that acts as a central hub. And it's not just for housing. It connects people to emergency shelter, rental assistance, food, even healthcare. It's designed to be the one number you need when you just don't know who else to call.
Okay, so let's shift gears now from a crisis to something more common but still incredibly complex: buying or selling a home. Here, you need a totally different kind of agent, a professional guide to help you navigate the whole process. What's really fascinating here is the formal promise that's involved. See, members of the National Association of Realtors who get to use the title realtor are bound by a strict code of ethics. This isn't just some vague guideline, it's a pledge. And the most important part is that they are required to act in their client's best interest. In other words, their job isn't just to make a sale, it's to have your back. That code is what really transforms them into a true agent on your side.
So what does that promise actually look like in real life? Well, it means having a human guide for every single one of these steps. They're there to really understand what you're looking for, to sift through countless properties for you, to help you navigate that tricky world of offers and negotiations, and ultimately to guide you all the way to closing. They are the agent who translates all this complexity into something you can actually manage.
Okay, so we've seen agents who help in a crisis and agents who guide you through a sale. But let's zoom out a bit. Who are the agents working behind the scenes, shaping the entire housing system for everyone? Let's call them the architects of housing.
And here we see two major players with very different but equally important roles. On one hand, you have a government body like Colorado's Division of Housing. They get right in there, partnering with communities to fund and physically build affordable housing. On the other hand, you have a trade association like the NAR, which provides all the essential data and research that guides the entire industry. So one builds, the other informs. Both are incredibly powerful agents of systemic change.
But these big systems aren't just things that happen to us. And this brings us right back to that powerful second definition of agency: your own power. It's not just about getting help, it's about having a voice and making an impact, from high-level policy all the way down to the pavement in your own neighborhood.
So how do you actually use that power? Well, there are formal channels designed for exactly this. Government bodies like the Division of Housing hold public hearings where your comments can literally shape new plans. And organizations like the NAR have these massive advocacy groups that bring their members' collective voice to federal, state, and local governments. These are the structured ways to make sure you're heard.
But agency isn't always so formal. Sometimes it starts with just one person. This is Karen DeMarco, a realtor in New Jersey. She saw a need in her community and started simply by serving meals right from her driveway. And that one small act of personal agency grew into a food pantry network that has provided over 1,700 tons of food. That's the human side of agency in action, seeing a problem and becoming the agent of change yourself.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground, from emergency hotlines to the halls of Congress and even a driveway in New Jersey. So what's the big takeaway here? How do we piece all of this together?
Here's the key takeaway. Your agent can take a whole lot of different forms depending on what you need. It might be the lifeline in a crisis. It could be the professional expert guiding you through a transaction, or it might be the large organizations shaping the system for everyone. But, and this is so important, it can also be you, taking action right in your own community. Help and the power to create it really does exist at every single level.
So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this question to think about. In your own housing journey, wherever you happen to be right now, who is your agent? Is it someone you need to find, or is it a role you're ready to become?